Today on Life on Batteries, we're going to learn about calibrating batteries. And I'll show you some cool features of the Heartmate charger.
Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to calibrate batteries using the Heartmate Universal Battery Charger. I wanted to keep most of the stuff on this channel non-hardware specific, but this just happens to be the rig I have, so it is available for this. A little bit of background on the unit. It's, of course, it's life support equipment, so it's very well built. This thing actually internally has 4 separate power supplies, one for each battery pocket. So it's even theoretically possible for half of this thing to go up in smoke and the other half still function. It's a remarkably well-built machine. It is a smart charger, probably one of the smarter battery chargers that you'll ever use. It's very simple to use, but it does actually have a lot of kind of cool features that are just under the surface. One of them is the ability to perform a battery calibration. So what is a battery calibration? Basically, it allows the battery's fuel gauge here to remain accurate. Really what it does is it charge cycles the battery, runs it completely flat, brings it back up to full power, and makes sure that this gauge displays accurately. Every 70 charges or so, these batteries are going to decide that they want a calibration. And they're going to tell you that in a way that might confuse you at first. It caught me off guard. What happens here, and I'll show you what happens when a battery needs a calibration. If I drop this into pocket 1, the display shows this broken battery symbol. You can see a battery with a crack in the middle of it. Now I'm thinking, okay, does that mean that my battery is finished? Should I call my VAD support at the hospital and tell them I need a battery? It's actually not that. All it's doing is telling you that it wants a calibration. Now, the neat thing about it is you don't even really need to do a calibration right away. You can drop this into the charging pocket, give it a full charge, and continue to use it. I mean, you should get to it as soon as possible, but because the battery calibration does run the battery completely flat and then fully recharge it, the manual says it can take up to about 12 hours. I've never seen it take that long, but you don't want to do it when you're in a rush anyway. So the bottom line is if you need the battery, you can drop it in and charge it normally and do this afterward. So how do you do a battery calibration? Dirt simple. Basically, all you need to do is drop the battery in, and within the first 10 seconds after you drop the battery in, press the number button corresponding to the battery. I just pressed the 1 button. It appears the display goes back to normal, just displays Heartmate charger, and it has now begun calibration of this battery. Over the next 12 hours or less, it will run this battery flat and then fully recharge it, and that indication will go away. The next time I drop the battery in to charge, I won't see the broken battery symbol, which is really cool. Since the battery is almost discharged anyway, I think it'll take significantly less than 12 hours, but I'm doing it at a time when I've got the time to do that. I have other batteries available, so I don't need to rely on this. It also makes sense, because it is charge cycling the battery and running it flat, that you don't really want to grab one of these things while it's doing its calibration, take it and try to use it. You Of course, I don't think it's a great idea to interrupt a calibration anytime, but if you had to, you could. You can remove this at any time and charge the battery and calibrate it later. But the risk that you have grabbing it during a cycle like this is the battery might be completely, totally, fully discharged by the charger when you grab it. So if you do interrupt a charge cycle, certainly don't take this thing and plug it into your controller and try to run your heart on it. That's bad idea. There are a couple of other neat things that are hidden just below the surface on this that I should show you if you haven't discovered this on your own charger, if you have one of these. I've got another battery here that needs charging. I'm going to drop this into pocket 2. And then if I press the button corresponding to battery pocket 2, I can see here the charge remaining in the battery. It shows me a little fuel gauge. So that's kind of neat. You can do that anytime during the time it's charging. If you push it once and push it again, you get some really interesting information here. On the first line, I can see how many charges the battery has had during its lifetime. That's quite useful. That'll give you a little bit of an idea when your batteries might want to be calibrated again as well. On the second line, I see the battery capacity in milliamp hours. If I take a look at the battery itself here, I see that the batteries are rated at 4.8 amp hours or 4,800 milliamp hours. When you drop it into the charger here and check it on a used battery, it'll be a little bit less. That's perfectly normal. If it's significantly less, it might be worth contacting your support at the hospital and just asking them about that, informing them. But yeah, that's a couple of the really cool features of this device. Basically, if you're charging batteries, you can just drop them in, wait till the indicator turns green, grab them and go. It's dirt simple. But if you do want a little bit more information, you can look at your battery's current charge, and you can look at the capacity and number of times charged. And of course, if you get the broken battery symbol, you can calibrate that battery by simply dropping it into the battery pocket and pressing the number button corresponding to the battery within 10 seconds after you insert the battery. If you just drop the battery in and charge it normally and don't press the button, it doesn't do the calibration, but it still continues to charge the battery, and the battery will remain useful. So that's about all there is to it. Again, a very simple device. Be sure to like and subscribe if you find this useful. That helps get these videos out to other people that can use them. And I'm always interested in hearing what you have to say in the comments. So drop me a line and I'll do my best to respond. So that's it for this episode of Life on Batteries. Take care. We'll see you next time.